If there's one thing that gamers love more than beating up a particularly tricky boss or coming out on top of a tense firefight, it's uncovering a juicy secret or hidden area. But sometimes they're even hidden on demos that are released to the public. So let's take a look at them today. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 7 secrets hidden in video game demos. Number 7. Play Wipeout, official PlayStation Magazine, Issue 1. So it might not look like it today, but when gamers the world over laid their eyes on the incredible original Wipeout game, it felt like you were looking into the future itself. It was incredibly slick, and had such speed that it felt like it was moving faster than light. Now, obviously, by today's standards, it's pretty tame, but you have to remember the tech limitations at the time. In fact, most players couldn't wait to get their hands on Wipeout as soon as it was unveiled in the official PlayStation Magazine's first issue, and so slammed the accompanying demo disc into their machine to jump into the cockpit, only to be met with a bit of disappointment. You see, the demo that was included here was labelled as a rolling tech demo, which would play out a race that the player could watch but not actually take part in. It was still pretty cool, but a bit of a letdown, all things considered. However, for those paying attention to the magazine itself, it turns out that you could actually take control of the vehicles if you performed a cheeky bit of disc swapping. A tiny article in the magazine stated that all you had to do was load up the demo, switch out the disc for Demo 1, which came bundled with all PS1s at the time, and boom! You could play through the race months before any such playable experience would become available. Nice. Number 6. Lisa follows you the entire time. PT. Sometimes a secret is actually best left uncovered, and this is most definitely the case with PT, which, while being a stonkingly good demo and overall horror experience, hid a terrifying surprise for fans who went digging around in its code. Throughout the short sample, players are haunted and indeed hunted by the horrifying entity known as Lisa. With her stilted movements, impeccable jump scare timing, and overall terrifying presentation, pretty much every player going wanted her to stay away from them as much as possible. So it was naturally spine-tingling to find out that in the demo, she actually floats behind the player at all times. After reaching a certain point in the demo, an invisible and randomized timer begins to count down. When it hits 0, Lisa will grab the player from behind. As this timer starts, Lisa's model appears behind the player, just waiting and watching until it's her cue. It also allows for moments where you're looking in reflections of the windows to catch a glimpse of her, making for some truly effective horror set pieces. Number 5. A whole lot of nothing. Yooka-Laylee's Toy Box. Despite not exactly living up to the monolithic expectations that any spiritual successor to Banjo-Kazooie would, Yooka-Laylee's first outing was one that was hyped up to the nines before its release, dominating Kickstarter with a huge amount of fan funding and being the hot property on everyone's lips months in advance. And to keep this hype train rolling, the developers decided to put out a tech demo-style teaser that would let players test out the abilities of the pair of protagonists in the form of Yooka-Laylee's Toy Box. However, while the geometry of this might have been a bit basic, there was a secret hidden within this that was anything but. If you collected all 100 quills and located some hidden switches dotted around the area, you would gain access to a secret area filled with particle effects. If you adventured on a little further, you'd then be able to access another secret room in which the inept robot gives you a clue to be used in the upcoming full release. It's a brilliant little puzzle trail that rewarded players for exploring every nook of the toy box. But the question is, what did the clue uncover in the real game? Well, it turns out that if you follow its advice, you'll unlock another inept robot who is dropped off by a UFO who, well, doesn't seem to do very much. It tells you that it's loading an explosion, and this percentage increased with each update to the main game, but it seems that it will forever be stuck at 99% now that everyone has moved on from this project. What a shame. Number 4. Calling You Out. The Stanley Parable Demonstration. As we all know, the Stanley Parable isn't exactly a game that plays things conventionally. From the moment that you begin playing, you know that you're encountering something special, as the constant narration of every single thing you do is both utterly charming and completely disarming. You have no idea if you're the one that's leading the events or if the game is completely manipulating you at every step of the way. And yet it turns out that this brain-whisked experience was actually even more surprising for those who got their hands on advanced copies of the Stanley Parable demonstration. It turns out that this demo was actually tailored to the few outlets that received them, making for personalized surprises when the narrator introduced both Danny and Ross by name when the demonstration was played on the Game Grumps YouTube channel, as well as throwing in lines familiar to fans of the series' in-jokes. It's incredibly rare to see developers go to such lengths, but it was also mind-blowing nonetheless to see these hidden winks and nods sprinkled throughout the exclusive play sessions. Number 3. Fighting Force Demo. PS Underground Demo Disc. The PS Underground publication was a very strange beast indeed, as not only was it produced by Sony themselves as a sort of fan club experience, but also it's listed as being a magazine but wasn't actually a magazine at all. Instead, it was a series of CDs that were sent to subscribers, each containing gaming content such as trailers, demos, and features, as well as links to exclusive website pages for you to read more about your favourite games. The entire package was made to feel like a trail of breadcrumbs for die-hard fans, leading them to different corners of the web for exclusive content such as interviews and even cheat codes for upcoming games. But it turned out that each of these discs also contained a hidden playable demo that fans had to figure out how to unlock. The one that sticks out in my mind the most was found on the third issue, in which if the player flipped over all of the demo icons that were presented to them, a full demo of Fighting Force would then be unlocked. While the game itself was nothing groundbreaking, the sense of satisfaction on unlocking yet more content on a disc chock full of it was like the icing on the bloody cake. Brilliant. Number 2, the entire game? Yakuza 6 demo. So yeah, this one was a bit of a total gaffe on the behalf of Sega, who were clearly so keen to get their latest entry in the Yakuza franchise out in front of the masses that they forgot one teeny tiny thing. They forgot that a demo is meant to lock progression off or end after a certain amount of time. Now, eyebrows were raised immediately when this supposed demo of Yakuza 6 dropped with a 35GB install size, but many just simply assumed that it was actually indeed the full game and that a code would then unlock the rest of the content on release day should they choose to purchase it. Wrong! This demo was the entire game. Players were shocked to find that after the opening act that they could just carry on in their adventure. Now, Sega was obviously quick to put out a patch locking it down, but as was found out, if you didn't accept the patch, you just got Yakuza 6 for free. No codes, no hacking, just a free game. Well, as long as you kept it a secret from Sega, that is. We won't tell. And number 1, capturing a Steelix. Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. Being a Pokemon fan back in the day was like being part of the world's biggest clubhouse, with TV shows, movies, and countless events taking place all over the world. It seemed that wherever you went, you'd be met with a healthy dose of pocket monsters. The events especially drew a lot of fan focus because more often than not, exclusive cards or download stations for rare or unique Pokemon would be unveiled to the masses. And trust me, if you were walking around with a one-time Pokemon in your pants, then you were the talk of the playground at my school. That being said, while this level of Pokemon fever has indeed died down, Game Freak still knows how to reward die-hard fans who are chomping at the bit for new adventures, and has routinely hidden rare and unique Pokemon in the demos released for the likes of Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, as well as for Sun and Moon. By completing certain tasks and by being lucky enough to encounter the Pokemon in the first place, players were able to transfer them into the main game upon release. Some, like the Japanese exclusive Steelix, were only available in this mode, meaning that if you wanted to catch them all, you'd need to delve deep into demos to do so. And there we go, those were 7 secrets hidden in video game demos. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comments section below. As always, I've been Jules, so you can go follow me over on Twitter at RetroJ with a 0, or you can swing by Live and Let's Dice, that's Dice with a C, where I do all of my streaming outside of work, and it would be great to see you over there, my friends. But before I go, I do just want to say one thing. I hope that you are treating yourself well, both mentally and physically. You deserve the best, my friend, the best things in life, like love, happiness, and success. We all do as human beings, and I just want you to really, really understand this, that nothing in life and nobody should be able to make you feel otherwise, alright? You're a massive ledge, now go out there and absolutely smash it. As always, I've been Jules, you have been awesome. Never forget that, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.